Hello everyone. Today we're going to get into Chapter 2 of the textbook, the topic being research methods in the study of personality. Just to emphasize that psychology is a scientific field, and the way we learn about human behavior and mental processes comes from the scientific method. So the study of personality is, again, studied from using the scientific method. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that and about the types of research methods that personality psychologists often use. Okay, well, if we want to learn about personality, be it our own personality or the personality of other people, we kind of do this stuff all the time. I believe everyone in this class have, as well as myself, we all have certain beliefs about ourselves. We believe we know who we are, and we think about who we are and the way we behave and the way we act. And we are, some of us, of course, may be more introspective than others, but basically introspection is something that we all do. We all look inward, we all reflect on our own behavior, pay attention to the things that we do. So this is something we commonly do. We want to be able to, see the way we react to certain situations. Make sure we don't make the same mistakes again, although we often fail at that. But again, looking inward and trying to understand our personality is something we all definitely do. And it's not really a scientific procedure, but it's something that we all do. Problem is, of course, one thing is the bias. That we're only looking at ourselves from our own perspective. We're not really seeing perhaps how other people might see us. So we may have our own view about ourselves, but it may or may not match with reality. Furthermore, many of us lack self-awareness, that we think we know ourselves, but we don't. This is a particularly relevant issue when we get into the chapters on Freud and the psychoanalytic theory. According to his theory, Freud's theory, much of who we are is essentially unconscious, outside of our conscious awareness. So all the introspection in the world isn't going to help us if we're not consciously able to bring that information out. So we'll talk about that when we get into psychoanalysis. So again, self-observation, knowing ourselves, is somewhat limited. Another thing is that when we observe other people and we try to establish, what that person's personality is, you got several problems. For one thing is you're just observing like one little blip of someone's behavior, and it's hard to necessarily make a conclusion about the person just from one behavioral instance. If you see someone online at the airport and they're yelling and screaming, are you going to automatically assume, that person must be just an angry person? There's an angry personality. Or is it some aspects of the situation, like they're on their way to their mother's funeral and the flight was just canceled? I think that would make anybody very angry and upset, mainly because they're under emotional distress from losing a parent, as well as just from having this major inconvenience at the airport. So all of that together can cause anybody to lose their temper. So observing others, it's easy to make a mistake and misinterpret someone else's behavior just from like one little blip. So obviously, again, that's not necessarily the best way of establishing personality. So if we wanted to kind of look at some of the more scientific methods that are used, formal methods like using case study research or experience sampling, these are ways in which we can kind of, in an organized way, gather information about people, gathering information about personality. So a case study is an intensive examination of a single person. You're not just looking at one little blip of behavior, you are looking at many different aspects of that person's life. Their personal history, their their likes and their dislikes. You can do an interview with that person, get a lot of information about that person. So good thing is you're getting a lot of in-depth knowledge about a person, and you can essentially find out, when you find out a lot of information about a person, you can should be able to make some conclusions about that person's personality. Unfortunately, just because this person's history is, just because you're studying this particular person's history and this particular person's behavior, it doesn't mean that other people are going to behave the same way, other people are going to do the same thing. So you can't really generalize just from studying one person to just other people, that may be similar or whatever. You can really only study that one person and study that individual. It's hard to really go beyond that. So that's a disadvantage. But then again, the advantage is, again, you're getting a lot of knowledge about this one person, and that may be of interest. Maybe, for example, if you are a clinician and you're talking about a client who has various personality problems, then doing a case study, a clinical case study, might be useful for this particular case. Another type of method often used for experience sampling, or like diary studies. So an advantage of this is that you are conducting it across an extended period of time. So basically people are recording their own behaviors and perhaps their own thoughts over an extended period of time. The good thing is that you're getting multiple observations. So the guy who is screaming at the poor representative at the airport, maybe that person, you could observe them in more quiet moments in their life, and you can maybe get a maybe draw a safer conclusion about whether this person has an angry personality or whether it was just that one incident. A good thing about experience sampling is oftentimes you're asking people, giving somebody, let's say, a self-report questionnaire to tell you about their personality or tell you about their experiences, is that people often have to try to remember back, and our memories, evidence shows that our memories are not very good. Our memories are easily distorted. So better to be able to take multiple measurements of what someone is thinking, what someone is feeling, what someone is doing, and then you can kind of take a look at the whole picture from that extended period of time. And again, when you do this, you could look for patterns. So maybe the angry guy at the airport, maybe he gets angry at his wife, and he gets angry at his kids, and it's something that he's doing very, very frequently. Then you'd be making a safer conclusion that maybe that guy's just an angry person. It wasn't just that one incident. Generalizability is very important especially when we're talking about human beings. It's clear that every human being is a unique snowflake. We are all different. We are all special. However, when we're talking about the study of personality, we're not talking about the study of personality of one single person. We're talking about personality in terms of looking at human personality in general. As a result, we need to be able to do some research on a sample of people and be able to draw a conclusion from that sample to a larger population. If we're really unable to do that, then we're really not learning much about human personality. We'd be learning about that particular group, but we want to be able to generalize to many people. And again, that's a big weakness of case study research, is that you really can't generalize to a whole lot of people. You want to be able to generalize to people from different populations, maybe different genders, different racial or ethnic groups, socioeconomic status, and so on. You want to be able to generalize to a wide swath of human diversity to be able to, understand personality best. Now, one criticism of research in psychology is that it's very much dominated by studying college students, because for practical reasons, essentially, the people who are doing the research are in academia. They're professors, and they're professors at colleges and universities. And if they want to study some aspect of human behavior or study some aspect of personality, well, they will need to be able to gather information from people. And who are the people they're going to gather information from? The people that are, they're most accessible, and those would be the college students in their colleges and universities. Problem with this, of course, is generalizability, because now you're going to be able to conclude that human personality, human behavior, for all people, from just a group of college students? It's hard to really jump to that conclusion. So, problem with generalizing, maybe generalizing to other college students, but not to people in general.